everybody, and welcome back to another vlog. Today I am technically going to be talking about why there are not that many videos going up on the internet, well, with me at least, going up on the internet too much now. I don't know why I'm talking like this. But yeah, technically what's going on is now that I'm back at school, really annoying time, I'm getting like 8 bits of homework per week. So far, how long have I even been there for? Like, I don't know why I look at my calendar, I haven't marked it in 4 weeks. Yeah, I've probably been there for like 2 or 3. I think by tomorrow, I'll be there for 3 weeks. But yeah, so, yeah, and I've been getting tons of homework every week, and then like due in day out, over the next couple of days. Seriously, on Thursday, I got 4 bits of homework straight away. So that's why there aren't that many videos going up right now, because I'm struggling to find time for. I obviously know that also if I haven't done videos for a while, I almost feel like I don't want to set up the camera. Because technically, I suppose my brain just kind of, hang on, I'm a little bit off-centered at the moment, but yeah. Because my brain technically makes me feel like it's gonna take forever, because I haven't actually set it up recently. So, you know. Anyway, I'm also planning on getting a few new games. What were they? Well, I was looking over a video game list for the PlayStation. It was like all the video games coming out this year. Mass Effect I'm looking forward to, although I still don't know what the precise release date is. What is it? I think it said in, I feel like it's in November, but I don't remember. That's sort of rhymed. But anyway, then there was also Star Trek Bridge Crew, which looked really quite interesting. I think that was also coming out in that time. I think they're probably going to do it in multiplayer. We don't have VRs for the PlayStation. Anyway, there were some other things that I now don't remember. Wow, it's actually chucking down rain. This is the first time I looked out the window now. Then there is Kerbal Space Program. That was another one I wanted to get. And, you are kidding me, I may edit this together because I have tons of designs I've gone over. I may do a separate vlog on it. No, I'm not. I'm going to try and cut this bit out and then edit them together, which can take hours. So, see you in this second. Yeah. If my words just got cut out, that was an accident. Yeah, this is it. You can see D.H.T written there. Yeah, so there is an absolute ton here. Okay, that was something else. But I'll go through it all. Anyway, so yeah, this is what the Supernova looks like. It's pretty much, it was mostly based on Red Dwarf. It's like how I have a different ship, which I was also going to have for this video, but I forgot about. I don't actually know what that one is. It could be in here, but I'm not sure. Okay. I'll bring out. No, never mind. Anyway. Right. Okay. I have like a few bottles here. I don't know why this stuff is here, but anyway. I have like. What is this doing on my desk? But yeah. So, it was meant to be based on Red Dwarf and the UNSC Infinity. Kind of like how my other ship, the Newton, was meant to be based on the weird blimp thing from the Pryden. I think that's what it's called, from Fallout. But I think looking at it, as like it looks nothing like it, because I think I used the balloon part. It's like got a lowering ramp and 6 floors for a crew of 6. It's actually quite cool. I'll eventually show you guys it, but it was just a little thing I wanted to build. Well, not really build, just design. But I don't know, me to try and build in Minecraft or something. Yeah, this was for when I was trying to come up with the idea for something like a mothership for Kerbal Space Program, and I wanted something big. So I've seen people's ships, and they weren't massive, I would say. I wanted to build something which was truly massive, the biggest thing I'd seen in the entire game. I wanted to build something big. So, I got floor measurements, which I will just show you up there. Right, this is the maths of the total number of floors. So I used observatories because in Global Space Program, like an observatory, I think it's an observatory. I'm not sure, but whatever I was looking at, it's got basically we can fit one Kerbal in there, so it looks like it's about one floor. So if I just layer those up all along the outside of the panel, how many be counting all the way up using the small observatories, which are small little circles on the side, and the bigger ones are maybe habitation rings, but that's just what I call them there. I may have an image of one somewhere, but I don't have it here. Well, it is here. I just can't find it right now. I think they're inflatable. They look kind of like that, and then they're kind of layered on top of each other. I think. I'm not sure, but oh, yeah, it's like sticky. But yeah, there was I don't remember. But anyway, cutting it up, there were 46 observatories that could go all along the top. I wanted to make sure I could get this an equal number, because I had already drawn that there were 6 decks, which I have marked out here. Which is on the top, I put communication scanners. They take up, like, they're opened up into space, but they all take up one floor in the game. So it's technically you start on floor 2. On the second floor, because the first floor is possible to get to, but you're just meant to go out there with the spacesuit. So yeah, then you've got, like, crew, so lower crew. No. I don't remember what I called them now. Lower class rooms, that was it. Or something like that. Then there was the bridge with more crew bedrooms. That's like higher class bedrooms. And then there's the lower part, which is, I'm gonna call it I don't know what deck to call it. It's more like the deck that actually has things that you can do in your free time. It's got the observatories, the habitation rings, more bedrooms. They're slightly more, they're lower class, but they're more expensive, by like £3 than the others. The top ones are like £10, so lower class £10. The next ones, the lower class ones on the, I'm gonna just call it the luxury deck, is are like £12, and the next ones are like 20. It's a pretty cheap ship, but I haven't figured out how many people would fit on the entire ship, but it's still, that would be a lot of money. Enough to fill it back up with supplies. Anyway, you got water tanks. They're not like, anyway, I'll get to the tanks later. But yeah, so, basically this was the number. 64 could be observatories could be fitted up the entire length of the ship. That's not an equal number that you can divide into 6. It might be, but I just didn't bother. So I added 14 to make it 60, then plus 60 to get 120. So yeah, you have 120 floors on the ship. I measured the entire ship in floors, because this is the Supernova 1 I'm talking about. The biggest version that I've ever counted up to, and I'm only going to say its numbers because I actually don't remember how to actually pronounce this one. 10660. That's a big amount. To be honest though, the last one I'm going to build, and technically like, that's the 9th one. The 7th is kind of like the one I prefer to kind of class as the stopping point, where you never go on to the 8th one, but it is built. Like, cause yeah, I'm writing books about it, which I've only started to read the first one. But it's quite interesting. Cause yeah, then you've got like, the 7th one is just the one where we're all by ourselves. Kind of like Red Dwarf again, but it's like more interesting because we keep going into like cryogenic freezing. Then every now and again we'll come back out in the solar system, and eventually like the newest kind of crew member just kind of gets mad at me because we're stopping. Her name was Nora. I haven't come up with the last name yet. But she wants to get back to where she is, which is in that direction. We're going that way. We're going to the most powerful black hole we can, so we can find out what what can withstand them. Last said there is nothing that can withstand them. This is my universe. I can do anything I want. Come on, think about it. The artificial gravity for this ship, because look, I found out not many people talk about artificial gravity, and it is true. Like in Star Wars, I didn't know this. They use plating, so the bottom of the ships are made out of a plating, I think, which creates the artificial gravity. My one's different. Mine's limonite in between the floors, apart from in the shuttle bay floor, like underneath where the shuttle would land. So you have like these little platforms going along the top, or whatever, where you have your area where you go in. Some will obviously actually land on the ground, but not that many, because I actually have to be able to, without using much fuel, lift up and fly. So the other ones don't actually use fuel, and they're just held there. So you'll go in, and technically you'll walk in, and you walk into it, where then that's got its own artificial gravity, so you don't really notice. But if you were to jump off the side, you would go completely into no gravity. You'll just start floating around. It'd be really cool. So yeah, so that way we just detach, and you can just use like your little air thrusters or whatever to just slowly push yourself out. Use a minimum amount of fuel, and yeah. Obviously, once all the air's got on it, you don't even need to worry about friction. Air resistance, that's what it is, not friction. Yeah. Anyway, I actually for the game, that was something else I was planning. Book, I have measured it out all in meters and then compared it with floors so people understand actually how big it is. Anyway, it's full on. Okay, what's its maximum length? I erased its maximum length. I think its maximum length is, I can just about read here, 48 floors. Compare that to 120, it's still shorter than it, but just a little bit. The middle part, like this bit is about 60. The entire front bit, I think that's with the RAM, the dark matter scoop, because that's what it uses as fuel. It's a small little dark matter scoop. This thing will keep getting more upgrades. Like technically, we say that we never add stuff to it, but it does always seem to constantly be getting new stuff. We don't tell you what it all does. I'll tell you in Kerbal Space Program what it does. It can grip onto asteroids, and then it's got drills next to them to go into the rock and start not drilling, mining. Yeah. Oh, it's a colony mining ship. That's why it's got so many rooms, and it is a mining one. Yeah. Anyway. On the very top, just to say, I forgot to mention this, floor 0, there's just one farm. Its back length is 21 floors, and with the thruster, which takes about one floor, is, 22 floors in maximum length, so, yeah, it's a pretty big ship. Its actual length isn't that long, which is kind of weird. Where is its length? Shoot. I can't find its length. Yeah. I don't remember how wide it is. It's not very wide, from what I remember. It's a very, tall, it's short. It's tall, short, and thin, which makes it a really weird shape. Ah, yeah, here. It's 38 floors wide. If you're getting confused with the things of having it as floors instead of meters or anything like that, it's just because it's slightly easier to understand. As in, most people know how big a floor is. There's the image of the Supernova 7. I'll tell you how big the Supernova 7 is in an actual measurement than just 4,460 floors, because that's a big number. But if anyone's about to pause this video, put this thing into a thing which I found called, I don't remember what it's called, but it's a small little website where you can convert floors into feet. You then round up the feet, put it into feet and just go as big as you can, and yeah, find out how big that actually is. Hint, miles. Where's floor 1? That's floor 2. Okay. Here's the Newton. Yeah, that's what it looks like. That was an idea from the Paradigm. Here it is. That's the outside view. Just say that's not at an angle, that is actually its full-on side view. Just the way I drew the window makes it look like it's at a slight angle. And the legs as well. But yeah, it's quite big. It's not massive, but that's the cargo bit. Where is this floor? That's deck 4 and that's deck 3. Okay, get rid of that because I don't need it. Deck 5, deck 6, need that, deck 2. Deck 1, there's like no images here. More kind of designs from Red Dwarf right there. That looks similar to the, actually now that I look at it, it looks nothing like it. There was maybe a sofa there. I just realised that. There's going to be a sofa, along this area, this wall here, facing that, facing that way, towards a mirror, where you can press a little button, it opens up to show a TV. I thought that was quite a cool idea. Yeah, there's deck 2. More, okay, this one's slightly more like Red Dwarf, I must admit. With the sofa and the hexagonal table. I don't know, I like that table. It's not a hexagonal. I think it's an octagon. Anyway, you know, you got yourself a little kitchen, sink for some reason outside the bathroom, just in case you don't want to go in or something, or you're just washing your hands. And yeah. And then you got the flight deck. That's what it looks like. So, technically, I never said that there was a middle chair, and to be honest, I should get rid of that. I don't know, maybe it's where one of the future characters can sit. But, right, this is me. This is where I would sit. This is where Rowan would sit, Gordon, and whoever the other character is going to end up being. Also, somewhere else I did draw. It's still in my trouser pocket. That thing's going into the wash. Shoot. I hope someone cleared it out before they put it in. But yeah. I don't know why I'm looking down there to see if it's there. Anyway, it's what the hologram little thing looks like. So each one of these ships. Yeah, deck 1 is crew basically. Deck 3 is crew on the bridge. Deck 4 has the shopping mall, which technically that's just everywhere where you can buy stuff with your crew credit. CC. The observatories, the habitation rings, more bedrooms. Then you got the science deck, which has the hologram room, that's the cargo bay. Okay, I didn't get to see much of what... I never could really come up with much of what it actually looked like. But that's a science lab. Technically. Or probably look much better. I can't think of anything further. Then you've got the... Okay, I did do a redesign of the hologram room on that picture as well. Where... Okay, anyone who knows what the Fallout... The Fallout 3 kind of almost like memory banks... It's got tons of those. It's got like 2 of those on either side of the room. Where then it would have, inside them, 3 types of areas which just go all the way up. So there's like, probably about the same size as that cupboard. Which just says like, my height. Yeah. Those are also around about the size of the landing legs. They're big. They fold up, so it's like, as they come down, they just kind of lower down. It's quite cool. But yeah. So this is like one leg, there's the other one. No, just go down like that. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, so it's got like those, and then you've got 3 areas. Floppy disk, for the actual real ones, which actually did flop. Like this, if you want to know what one looks like in Word, little save symbol, that is a floppy disk. The next one is for CDs, and the next one is for USBs. The first one contains, I think, like personality and some memory. Next one contains more memory and something else. Yeah, like actually how they move around. So, you know, once someone is actually died, what we do is we put together all security footage of them. Well, we have security footage everywhere. We never look at them, but they are everywhere in the ship. They go into every room. This, just to say, this does include the bathrooms, which then some people... We do put it into the kind of conditions. Why do I have an image of Red Dwarf here? It's not something I need. But yeah, and then, yeah, so it ends up being quite an odd looking thing. What am I talking about? So yeah, so you got the cameras everywhere, inside them. So then you know exactly how they move and act and things like that. Then you end up with personal logs as well. And the final one is some actual memory. That is something that we only access after they've died. Like, it literally is almost like something that goes back in time, goes and checks, like, downloads their entire memory. So that their memory and things like that, and how they move around, are usually put into the CD. All memory and personalities put into the floppy disk, and then because USBs don't have that much memory, like, they only contain the physical appearance. So that is like the list of their clothing and hairstyles, which usually most people stay with one. For instance, like mine right now is slightly more messy because I wash my hair and it just sticks. But you know, yeah. Anyway, these drawings are terrible. But yeah, and if you're a new crew member, because there are 3 switches also, all next to each other, so you'll pull each one down, and what they'll do is they'll shut down. For the first time when we bring someone back, they're kind of like, once again, kind of like soft light, so once again going back to Red Dwarf. And there's errors going on. So instead what we do is, I'm pulling down each one of the levers. Like, one of them starts to kind of shut down the physical appearance, making it slightly more see-through and a little bit more glitchy. And then I pull down the next one, which actually shuts off its ability to fly. So the little thing, so it drops onto the floor, also making the hologram not look too good. And then you pull the final one and it shuts down everything. So that's in case of emergencies. Anyway, and then there's like the still similar shape to the ship, just, you know, I've forgotten what the name of the ship was. Octagon, I think that was it. Yeah, that's 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 8 octagon. It's like an octagon shaped thing on the ground. It's like just some stickers, so it's like one sticker there, then another sticker there. You know, they're not touching, they're just there, just kind of show. With then an X in the middle. And then you've got the screen in the centre with then the pad also visible. And if you're a new crew member, or whatever, we've just picked you up or whatever, you can go stand in the centre and it almost like starts scanning you. And then eventually just kind of figures out how, and then you've got to just walk around into that, and eventually it just figures out creating 3D images of yourself. Yeah, and then there's the AI room. We do have an artificial intelligence on board the ship named Supernova. Don't think that's not a very creative name. I actually thought it was quite a cool one. Because Supernova, like the supernova, okay, like there's certain ways that you can tell which one I'm talking about. For say the supernova, I always seem to refer to the AI as a she, because it is a she, because her original name was Jane, and I said, I literally put down, how could Dr. Limmer forget that? He has a exact memory, more exact than anyone. So exact, he can walk into a crime scene, walk around the room, look up, look down, walk out, and he can tell anyone where everything was, and literally close his eyes and create 3D images of the room that he can then walk around again. That is a good exact memory. I'm not sure though. There's not really much known to me either about who Dr. Limmer actually is. So I'm not even sure if that's his name. I just call him Dr. Limmer. To be honest, yeah, I'm not sure. He just calls himself that, I think. Kind of like me. I call myself Nurse Jones. He calls himself Dr. Limmer. I'm not even sure if Dr. Limmer is his last name. But yeah. So he's got such a perfect memory that it's really quite surprising me on how he forgot that we already have an AI called Jane that we put in the kite. Which once again was another image I was going to have here. But I do not have my little booklet with me, I don't think. Well, it's in here somewhere. I think it's actually in the lower area. Is it? Yeah. I may have already shown you guys this image, but yeah, the kites. I've got the booklet up wrong around. Yeah, so there. So yeah, anyway. So yeah, I go down and I also recreate Supernova. So Supernova in the ship, at the very start, has an incredibly electronic voice that is actually ending up being hard to understand, and it's just a blue line. You know, like on No Man's Sky, how you got for your life support, you got that line as the weird little squiggly line. Yeah, it's kind of like that. When she talks, it moves up and down. I'm pretty much sure everyone knows what that is. So yeah, so instead I go down, and anyone who knows, I'm not sure, and I don't really want to say it just in case it's actually offensive. But anyway, anyone who knows Raj from the Big Bang Theory, technically I go down, give her a female face, and Raj's skin color is the skin color I give her. I'm not exactly sure what to call that type of skin color, so I'm not sure. I don't really want to say it just in case, you know. Yeah, yeah, so, and then I give her, like, it's like black hair which goes kind of down to the top part of your neck. All around. Kind of like Cortana, I suppose, actually. Like, every now and again, I then realise that and how it's actually similar to someone else. With, yeah, black hair, which round about there, like halfway down her head, starts to change into a yellowy colour. And it starts to go down, down, down. And then on the last little bit, like there, it's actually pure gold. Which I thought was quite a cool thing. She's also got bright green eyes, which I thought was quite good. Because you can have them, like, if you look close enough, like, you can see code, like in the Matrix. So yeah, and that's kind of it. Supernova's voice is also changed. I swear my camera just moves down a little bit. Okay, so yeah. But yeah, so that's kind of like the science deck. And in the later models, it then has all its, like, cryogenic pods there. Again, it's a mod for Kerbal Space Program, actually. I haven't talked about that much, but yeah. And it's like where you have a pod, it's like a little room thing, that then can have 10 Kerbals inside. And I actually thought of them in a similar way. So yeah, so I thought that was quite good. Because obviously I wanted to know what restrictions I had for Kerbal Space Program, and so what I could put. I've never got the game, I have never seen anything. So I don't even know if it's possible to build this. But in a video I saw of someone building the Pillar of Autumn, that's what it's called, in Kerbal Space Program. You use this very thin material, which I think were wings, actually, but they did look very good for making a smooth outline. So I think that's a default thing in the game. So as long as I can find that, I should be able to create it. And I'm going to use mods so that, like, there's a little thing on the back, right there, which I put it at the back for two reasons. One, if you're moving forwards and things spawns too close, it'll be moving away, so it doesn't matter too much, hopefully. And then, yeah, so the little, and this thing is what I'm actually going to use to spawn the supernova. Once again, I'm not exactly sure how this stuff spawns itself, so I'll save before doing it, send it in space, and send it as fast as I can away from the planet. Not as fast as I can, but at an okay speed, away from the planet. And then, every now and again when I think about this isn't a great idea, but I may have to do it, where I have to send the thing away, and spawn it as I'm heading away, so it will spawn and in space. The other thing to do is try and do it in orbit, which could be better, because that way it should stay in orbit. Yeah, this thing, just to say for its size, is built to land. I think I was going to plan on building it on the other hand. I could build it on Minmus, on one of those super flat areas, where really the first few ones should be able to land at an okay way. Okay, well, not too difficult. This is a shuttle bay. I have come up with redesigns. This one was just look like Red Dwarf. Anyway, on the interior you end up with more building things, so where you can actually build shuttles for the purpose of the book. So you're not just making stuff appear out the back. That area is actually replaced with an area which we open up for FTL solar panels. So I haven't talked about the engines, but I haven't really thought of them too much. Actually, I was doing a Word document on how fast the first one travels, which was, I don't remember now. I think it was like an 8 with then 5 zeros on the end. It is incredibly fast, because If you want to do it, find out how far away Saturn is in meters, and for the time, because you've got to do like distance divided by time, I think, to figure out how fast something goes. Right, it took about, in the book, we're travelling around about our normal speed on the planet. It took, to get from Earth to Saturn, Saturn's orbit at least, but you can just put Saturn, 2 weeks. So if you put the distance of Saturn and the time it took into like a Word document to there, then plug that into a calculator, you will get the round about the speed the supernova goes. I just say that entire back part of the supernova in so this bit, that entire area for the game, in the game, is just fuel. That's all that goes in there, fuel tanks. And considering on its size, that's plenty. I'm going to be using cheats for it because the supernova runs on dark matter, and anyone who doesn't know what dark matter is everywhere. It's the thing that technically holds everything in place, sort of. I don't honestly know what dark matter is too much, but we're not really sure if it actually exists or not. I think that's also what people believe makes space black. It's just dark matter. Yeah, maybe that is what it is. Like, it has a certain distance to how far you can actually see through it. So yeah, we run on that. So what actually happens when we turn on the dark matter scoop? It creates this kind of force field thing around the edges. So dark matter can't enter through the sides because otherwise it could overload it. So instead, it's funneled through the front of the scoop. This shield is completely undetectable unless you're made of dark matter. So ships can pass through it, anything can pass through this shield. It only stops dark matter, or anything containing too much of it. I think every now and again we are going to have like a little point where maybe we're being attacked and a shuttle flies into the point and it's obliterated because it was made so much. It had an overload of technically dark matter. It had more dark matter than usual, so it just completely obliterated. So yeah, also I did start working on things like limonite, actually how it's got 2 nucleuses, and then it's got 1 electron, which orbits like that around the 2, which makes it incredibly odd, because nothing's ever done that before. So yeah, the artificial gravity on the ship is actually 5,000 volts. Just there, it's 5,000 volts put into it for 1 second, and it becomes and it creates 1G. Put it in for 2 and it explodes. Put it in for 3 and it creates 5G. Put it in for 500 volts and it goes for 1 second and it creates 10G. 1G just say is our normal gravity. So 6G is 6 times our normal gravity. Yeah, that's quite strong, to be honest. That would probably either kill us or make us really feel really, really heavy. You know, this water bottle I wouldn't be able to pick it up that easily. Probably. I don't actually know what kind of planet would actually have that strength. Anyway, right. And the very last room, because I put down here like all the vehicles that were going to be inside there. Now, obviously going with Red Dwarf because they actually have mining ships. It's like Starbug, Blue Midget, White Giants, Firefly. We're going to have Fireflies. I put S 1, 2, 3, 4 because S is just cutting it down for series. Not the actual TV series, like model series. Then we're going to have 2 types of warp ship, which I saw with 2 different mods. The reason I didn't put a warp drive on the Supernova was because for the game there are all the mods for warp speed. You can either have it built in one certain way, or it has a bubble around it, and that's annoying, because that means I can't build this thing. So instead it's got an FTL drive, but the FTL drive needs an actual satellite to travel to. So I came up with the idea that it just creates so much electricity that this satellite just fills up, like it's got a battery inside it, which could power the entire world. If everyone kept their lights on, kept things charging, like if I left this tablet charging, it would be able to run it for what was I saying? 50 years, that was what I was trying to say. 50 years of power put into a little battery on a satellite. It's not even on a satellite, it's just a battery with some solar panels to keep it powered up. The solar power energy goes somewhere else so it knows when to start doing that. And the Supernova uses it to calculate how far it needs to go. But the Supernova's FTL, because I've seen it in the game, it's just like, you're there, bang, you're in the other place. There's no, like, transition. Someone watching you will just see the thing just go, it's just gone. There's no flash, nothing. It looks really dull, but it's not meant to be that stylish. You know. Like, even the 5th book starts with, once again, a now updated tour of the ship, starting at the bottom, working its way up, where we're actually having a review, a surprise review. Yeah, it's almost like to test actually how well we react to a sudden tour of the ship, technically. Anyway, oh yeah, the ship also has then a seaplane, or a few seaplanes, so we can actually come down through the atmosphere and land in the sea or on land, which makes it quite useful. A submarine ship, if I can. It's a ship that can actually go underwater and still work underwater. I think I just came up with some random names here or something. I think I put the Mine Giant, which is just like this ginormous ship built for... It's not ginormous, but it's big. The Constructor, which is just simply something there to help build other ships in space. OUV, which was something I remember, which I think was something that on the video I saw, he was using it to grip hold of like the bar of a habitation ring or something like that. It was like I'm not sure, it was like a weird shape. It was almost like that within a bar upwards. Technically, it also looks like a smiley face without the 2 eyes. But anyway, so it would like open up and then have these like little claws which would grip onto it, and then they could take it round. They're not very powerful, so these would have to be at the front or like at the front and the back of the ship, because they only use those little air thrusters. They have the main thruster. I now don't remember what this last bit is. SRES, which either was something I saw or something I came up with. If this is not something I saw, this will be the actual colony ships, which will be docked onto it, probably in like underneath or something like that, or probably still inside. And these ones are actually built to put all of the residents inside. Don't make me answer this phone. I'm gonna have to answer it. Give me a minute. Right, well, that was my mum telling me. Just coming out. Did you do your video? Yeah, sort of. I'm in the middle of one. Anyway. But yeah, so that's like the colony ship to actually bring you down to the planet. And the cargo bay. These are the tanks, just to say. They are basically cargo bay 1. It's 5 floors tall. It doesn't have 5 floors, but it's like that tall. Just say each deck is 20 floors, so this will equal 20. So yeah, it's got 5 floors for the first bit, which will contain my cars, or just in general cars, clothes and other materials that are not that essential. Why? Because if coming down for landing and we hit the ground too hard or something, if we damage it, all that's going to happen is some cars are going to fall out, some clothes, and a few other materials that aren't that important. Everything else, you know, is like 5 floors up. It's not that dangerous. Although my favourite car, Harry, which will end up being in the books as well, is actually hung from the ceiling in a small like crane thing. He's going to be alive. Like I think in the book, I go slightly more into a backstory of him. Cargo Bay 2 is another 5 floors, which this one actually contains some food, mining gear, emergency supplies, water, as in, you know, Coca-Cola, Fanta, Pepsi, you know, I don't know, sparkling water. Technically, you can make that there. We've got water tanks. Yeah. I think this would also contain, towards the centre, the actual stuff which we use to process the ore and all of that. And then that's taken to the engineering through in between the flooring. Which isn't that thick. It could be like that thick. It's not going to take up much of the ship. But anyway. And in the very top one, there is water and food, which I put in brackets for no reason in boxes. Pretty obvious. And yeah, that was 10 floors. And these water tanks take up, technically, you would have 1 floor gap. So these tanks are 9 floors tall. And they are full to nearly the brim with water. How do we never run out? I don't know. But yeah, we're pretty safe, to be honest. Thinking about, you know, water supplies. Because, you know, this water's filtered. Anything that is not actually something that could break the netting, or if the netting is broken, it will close off towards the end. So this is like the thing, we never say to like flush anything that is not, I don't know, like you can't flush your dead goldfish down there. If you're gonna get rid of your goldfish, you put it in, I'm sorry, but you have to put it in the bin. Every room has a bin. They'll go to the exact same place, out the airlock. Because technically, you try and flush it down the toilet, it's going to go all the way down into one of the nettings, where then it may, technically, I don't know, I was actually thinking I actually have to come up with some way of how you may split it. Because, yeah. Basically, if the netting starts getting kind of clogged or whatever, it starts blocking them off so that no bad water, or at least a very minimum bit of bad water will get through into the main tank. But, you know, that thing's kind of not necessarily cleaned, but, you know, it's usually remaining quite clean. The tanks are usually always full through the journey. Because, you know, think about it, we got so many people on there. If all the water coming down is then cleaned up, we're not really going to run out. Yeah, that's technically everything. And the later ones, just to give you an idea, Cargo Bay 1, cars, materials, I just shortened it down. Cargo Bay 2, food, materials. Cargo Bay 3, food, materials, water. Cargo Bay 4, food, materials, water. Cargo Bay 5, I just realised I put the floors down. 5 floors for the first 3, and then it's 20 floors for the Cargo Bay 5. That's for the next one. But yeah, I was actually just to say before I continue and I forget, there was something which I was planning to do to change the name of the channel to D.H.T, Nurse Jones, then to include D.H.T Travelers, which will be more of an actual channel based only for the Travelers series, after I start making them, which, just to say, will be the point when I'm 18, because that's when I'll have enough people and enough materials. Not enough people, but just know enough people to do this. But yeah, anyway, D.H.T Dr. Limmer. Anyone who's seen the channel Space Doc, it's similar to that, but about all technology I use, or at least most technology I use. If the Supernova can stay in communication, technically does have communication with Dr. Limmer, but we're not allowed to use it. Why? In the Supernova 7 we are completely stranded, technically. We can't communicate with him. Why? For 2 reasons. Also, one of the reasons, there's another 2 reasons why we don't have tracking devices on the ship. Or at least back to Dr. Limmer. Because we're using this. We're heading off. The Supernova 7's first kind of book is based 4 million years after leaving Earth, where technically colonies are stranding out further than we were, because our ship is so slow. We've not been accelerating because it'll be too difficult to come out, and we stop every now and again. So what actually happens is the first time, if I was to make a video game, it will be based on actually us coming out of this stasis and to angle up the ship for Nora to come on board, because she's coming out of an escape pod from a different ship, and and the story will come along later. But yeah, like the games are the games and films, or TV series, if I ever make anything like this, will be based in parallel universes to the books. Each one is based in a parallel universe. The books are dimension X06, which is our dimension, just to say. The games will be based in dimension X06-1, which is a parallel universe to this dimension. And the films, I don't know, X06 D.H.T, and that's then the film dimension. Each one is then slightly different. Like, this is how I've laid it out. Like, seriously, even in the series, pretty much, I'm trying to think, Mass Effect, and Lego Dimension, I think. Oh, and Terraria, I think. Were all based in parallel universes. Actually, I think, not in parallel universes, in other dimensions. Although Just Cause was based in a parallel universe. Because those islands I don't think actually exist. But anyway, so yeah, all the other ones are based in our dimension. Seriously, Minecraft is in our dimension. No Man's Sky is in our dimension. Halo is in our dimension. Everything else is in our dimension because I just like it. I like this idea that actually this stuff could be happening to us in the future. I think that's quite cool. Also, if you think about it, if technically whatever you think, I think this is a theory, but technically whatever you come up with becomes real in another dimension or a parallel universe, whatever. So that means one, the supernova is real. Supernova is real, and it's called the D.H.T supernova. That means the D.H.T is real. That is a cool idea. That's not something I came up with. That's actually something that's true. I think that it's actually a belief thing. But anyway, back to the ship. Okay, I'll tell you all the flaws. I've only measured out the Supernova 7 in actual distance. I don't remember what the other ones were. But basically, the first one, Supernova 1, is 120 floors, 20 floors per deck. I only did it up to the second one, so yeah. The second one is 240 floors, 40 floors per deck. The third one is 560 floors. So you can kind of see what I'm doing already. I'm doubling each one. Hang on. I think I had made a mistake on this, and that's why the floors ended up... Because this is the thing, I apparently made a mistake in my original counting up, and I never wrote them down. So, here, in pen, is all of my failed attempts. Where I copied it exactly the same, and the seventh one ended up being the fifth one. I was like, shoot, something's gone wrong. So yeah, I think it was around about the third one I made a mistake with my doubling. But yeah, so yeah, so then the next one, so Supernova 3, 560. The Supernova 4 is 840. Supernova 5, 1120. So it gets into a nice little loop. This is the point where I start to ignore going back into this loop parts, I think. But yeah. The Supernova 6, 2,240 floors. Supernova 7, 4,460 floors. I'm just checking, that measurement's not in there. That would be probably 5,560. But who cares? Then Supernova 8, which is the one that at the end of the last Supernova 7 book, it literally ends up, if it was like the series thing, the camera will like move up, turn around so you see in their background, move up, and you can see like all this construction of this ginormous ship, and they're showing the name like Supernova, and just like a few of the letters, so Supernova, Nova 8, just, you know, like, it's not finished, but yeah, it's Supernova 8, so it's almost like the Supernova 8 is where it ends up. And I just want, out of curiosity, to find out what the ninth one would be. 10660. Pretty big. Once again, that would probably end up being the 1120. 11120, I suppose. But yeah, anyway. That would actually make it bigger. But yeah. So yeah, the Supernova 7, as I said, anyone who has bothered to pause this video and go look up what that actual measurement is before I tell you. The Supernova 7's measurement in miles is 9. It is 9 miles tall. I haven't even bothered starting to do other measurements for the ships. I'm going to actually do that by the point I reach actually making the book, so I know how big to actually make them. But 9 miles. That's big. Honestly, right now, if I really wanted to, which I don't want to do, I could double their maximum measurements and all of that, and then figure out how big they actually are by that point. But 9 miles. That's all you need to know. Some of our stairs are shaped like that. They're incredibly big, and similar to Home Alone. One of the things we want to do if we want to get to the cargo bay is you literally put a sledge down on it, sit down and push yourself off the stairs, you know. You just go all the way down the stairs. All the way down. 9 miles. You probably might feel slightly sick towards the end. But, that's quite cool. Yeah. Just say, in the books, a few of the functions I've came up with for the Supernova's dark matter scoop is it's an airlock right at the very front. Like, I did draw somewhere it's actually on the back of here. If you look closely at the Supernova's dark matter scoop, you can see lots of little holes. That's where the dark matter is actually going into. Right in the very center is the actual airlock. Similar to a game called Hellion. If you search Hellion announcement trailer and look at some of its gameplays, which is also another game I want to get. Apparently a pre-alpha version is coming out in 2017. Don't know why, but my brain says like January, February, somewhere around that time. I feel like it's coming out then. I've seen that it comes out in 2017, but I think my brain just came up with saying early 2017, but I'm not sure. But I definitely thought that would be really interesting, because the game looks really cool. It will be really quite helpful for you guys to see, like, I don't know, I feel like it would also help me as well a little bit, with getting a pre-alpha version of the game. But anyway, it'll be interesting. I haven't, there's only like 2, apart from the announcement trailer, 3 videos, of the actual gameplay, I suppose. The only other videos are like how the ships are going to look. So, you know, like if it's really cold, really hot, damage, you know, like how the ship's damaged and things like that. And that's it. All the episodes, the announcement trailer, the gameplays have all been done around the same planet. They've never gone to any other planet, which I don't know. But anyway, the airlock is shaped like that. There are 2 other airlocks on the ship. Both of them are towards the back, on either side of the bit that actually bends inwards. So, you know, the Supernova doesn't have that many airlocks, unless you're classing the shuttle bay as airlocks, I suppose, and the cargo bay itself. But, you know, accessible ones whilst you're in a journey that most likely you would be using by yourself, like man airlocks, I'm going to call them. There's only 3 of them over the entire ship, which is probably now like a couple of miles long for the Supernova 7. But yeah, and the Supernova 7's mission is actually to go to the center of the universe, where I'll be using distance and speed to figure out how long it would take to get there. I'm going to say it's going to be taking a few centuries. I did also somewhere else write down where it was actually going to be going, but I made a mistake because the Supernova 2 is a very confusing journey of going from Earth to Mercury. No, Earth to Venus to Mercury to might be Neptune, and also I think this is the other name for the planet, Uranus. I think that's also the other name for it. I heard that on in the at Bristol Observatory Dome thingy. I heard that there. I don't know, you could search it up, I suppose. But yeah, that's just what I call it, Uranus. Anyway, so yeah, that's kind of its journey, and you know, the first book at the moment I haven't got that far into. So far I'm just kind of finishing off the ones, but you know, I think I'm quite good at it. To be honest, I should more do audio books or whatever, because I actually say more than I write. But you know, I come with all these ideas, like for the Supernova 4, after we've finally got to the moon, after we've crashed on Earth. Like, it's weird because we only just missed the planet. But I don't know, I like this idea of actually how the thing can enter an atmosphere and land successfully. It has landing legs, as I said earlier. It has landing legs. If you're wondering how it goes up through the burn-up, that's something quite interesting, to be honest. Going through the burn-up, what it actually does is it freezes its entire exterior. So the ice is still freezing cold, making the exterior of the ship freezing cold. But then, as you come down, this will burn up. It will melt, technically. And then, it's also still then kind of got a bit of water to evaporate as it comes down more. And hopefully, falling quite quickly, we should be able to break through the burn-up without actually damaging the ship too much. I did come up with some sort of heat shield idea, kind of like Red Dwarf, how they have the carbon heat shield. But I couldn't really think of much. Anyway, the Supernova 7 also having such a long body. I've drawn on top of it like 5 farms, but we don't really need that many farms. Also, we've cloned them. Similar to the village, how I have lived through 20 generations of the villagers in my original Minecraft map. If you're wondering how I've lived through that many, and I've only had the game for about 3 years or so. They're clones of Dr. Limmer. There is more detail which I will do into that. Similar when I actually talk about how the farm works. But technically, our clones don't live for very long. The first ones lived about a week. And technically, even the church, I never said what religion that was for. Yeah, it's for its own religion, the island's own religion. I literally created a new religion of this. But yeah, where it's because these ones woke up fully grown. They were adults. They were fully grown adults, and they just knew everything. They woke up, wrote everything down. You know, they had children, which then literally the creepy thing was that you could look at them and see them growing. That's weird. Seriously, over a matter of minutes, they would be a few months would have technically have passed. So yeah, it's really weird watching them grow, especially when they start, you know, actually having like growth spurts and things like that, where they grow even quicker. But yeah, anyway, and then they grow up and die and and so like only a couple of weeks would go by for a generation, but as more villagers just keep being born, you know, more, it's like an illness. They start getting immune to it, so they're now, right now, their average lifespan is about 7 weeks, I think. I think that might be about a month. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it's a little bit more than a month. So, you know, they live for a fairly long time, and it's not as creepy watching them grow up. But, you know, they're living longer, and eventually they'll reach whatever our maximum... This is the thing, we don't actually know what our maximum lifespan is. Like, the lab is completely secret to them. I know it's not that well hidden, but considering how they are allowed to leave the village. It's just not really a good idea to. They know that. But kids have been terrified of these zombies and things like that, giant spiders outside the village. To be honest, I think zombies are the only actual threat to them. Because the giant spiders, they can fit through them, but I don't really think they come, because I've got all the torches around, which do usually keep them away. But anyway, I don't know what I'm now talking about. But yeah, the farm works in a similar way. They're born, they die. But yeah, the mall is also now really big with like 5-star, not really hotels, but you know, like, maybe actually I could put hotels. If you want to stay on another side of the area to visit some people, you know, that you can actually stay in that area. So you'd have to keep taking the elevators, which would be really annoying because you go like... Yes, the elevators go sideways. Also, if one breaks down, don't worry. If an elevator stops, you'll kind of feel it, you just kind of go, ooh. And then you can pull, you know, press the little button and it shuts down the area inside. Without crushing you, of course. So that no other elevators can come that way and hit you. As well as if you start falling, a countdown will begin, and it tells you that 3, 2, 1, now, and you got to pull this switch, which actually opens a parachute out the top. This parachute will slow you down enough that so that you're not likely to stop going down, like whilst you're coming down, or for the parachute to break up, or scraping the sides or anything. And so it should just come down, and then maybe not too gently, but at least it will touch the bottom of the cargo bay without killing you for certain, or at least damaging you. There shouldn't be any accidents after you pull the parachute, as long as it says when to. Yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be around about it. So thanks for watching. See you all later.